into NASCAR. It was Dega weekend, one of my favorite weekends of the year. It happens twice a year. I'm super excited for the playoff race in October. Um, yeah, I mean, it, it's just gonna be it's so hard to talk about because
It's not hard to talk about for me.
yeah, Tyler Reddick won. What
Tyler
did he
Reddick
got?
won. I have the
Obviously,
Jordan car in the studio today. Got
but
the hat on.
I called. I mean, y'all have watched this. I called Brad K to win this race 3 weeks ago,
Yeah.
and for him to be so close. If you want to learn how to drive, if you play iRacing or whatever, and you want to learn how to win at Talladega, watch Brad Keselowski's last lap.
He's so good.
A masterclass. Did nothing wrong, and that's why it's so.
Don't even watch just the last lap. Watch that entire last run. It was a clinic in how to time your runs, how to push a guy, keep a guy in the front, not get to the lead yourself, be able to save that fuel when that was still a factor. He did everything perfectly. Yeah. And even though as a Reddick fan, I'm super happy to see him get the win, part of me does feel for Keselowski because he did absolutely nothing wrong, and just one block too many from McDowell took him out of it.
So for those of you that don't know what happened, coming out of the tri-oval, Brad Keselowski got a run because he had been running second behind McDowell almost for 30 laps at this point, and he did not want to be out in front. If he wanted to take the lead, he probably could have whenever he wanted to. Whenever Michael McDowell went up to block Reddick, he could have grabbed the lead. He didn't want to. He's been there before. He's won at Talladega before. I've seen him do it in person twice. His last win came at Talladega in 2021. He knows what he's doing. He did not want to be in the lead coming out of the tri-oval. So, going into the tri-oval, he gets a run. He goes up. McDowell sees this. Great block by McDowell. A+ McDowell. Good job.
Yes.
However, your next block was not as good. Then, Brad Keselowski goes down right on top of the nose of Noah Gragson. Doesn't hit Noah Gragson. Perfect timing to get in front of Noah Gragson, to get Noah Gragson's push. Noah Gragson pushes Keselowski. He's got the win at this point. Well, McDowell decides, it's not good enough. I know Ford needs a win, and there's 3 of us in the top 4 right now, and Ford's 100% going to win this race. Takes out himself trying to block Keselowski. Slows Keselowski and Gragson down just enough for the outside line, led by Tyler Reddick, to come through. And by the time the caution is thrown, Reddick is your winner.
Yeah, it stinks for Keselowski for sure, but I don't think you can fault McDowell. You can't fault a guy for trying to win the race.
No, I don't fault him. I do think the Ford team meeting may be a little interesting because they haven't won all year. They had such such a good shot and they blew it. Not as bad as the Toyotas will, and we'll get to that. But they blew it. So Tyler Reddick got the win. Michael Jordan was in attendance, which is great for NASCAR to see because he does transcend the sport.
That's the only way NASCAR makes ESPN, by the way.
Right.
NASCAR's made ESPN twice this year, and it was the Atlanta finish was on Top Plays, and you could tell the anchors had no idea what to say. They were like, cars. And then now Michael Jordan was in a NASCAR race, and they're like, basketball, and didn't mention what was the headline that you sent me?
It was
celebrates with
Michael
NASCAR
celebrates with winning NASCAR team car or something like that. Something so basic. Like they didn't give Tyler Reddick any props or anything. It was just NASCAR racing team won. Michael Jordan in attendance. Like I do get it though. But please just learn a little bit of vocabulary. Learn a little bit of vocabulary for me. But yeah, 2311 is only the fourth team to win this year. You have Hendrick, who's won most of the races. Gibbs after them. You have
the one Trackhouse win.
Trackhouse, which was could have
an accident.
Right. That was a wild card, if you will. And now you have 2311, who I do expect to win another race this year. Just because I think they are pretty similar to Gibbs.
Yes, as Tyler Reddick's winning the championship.
Yeah. But no, so only the fourth team to win, which is really interesting. Ford still win this, which probably will continue for, at this point, a while. I mean, I was joking earlier saying they're going to have 6 drivers win at Daytona, the last race of the season, in must-win situations to make it into the playoffs.
Don't worry, Ryan Blaney's winning Pocono.
Okay, I can see Ryan Blaney win over any other Ford driver. Maybe Buescher at a track.
Ryan Blaney's winning Pocono.
Okay, well, are we locking that in?
We're locking that in. Ryan Blaney's winning Pocono.
I can't wait for you to choose someone else at Pocono when we get there.
I can't wait for him to get wrecked out on lap 2.
So we'll rate the burnout or lack of burnout. I was going to give it a 1 because his first burnout was horrendous. He saved it on the second one, so I'll go to a 2. But I was so sad.
I've gone with a 5 because the first burnout.
You went with a 5 because it's 45. That's why.
No, because first
anybody else, it'd be a 2.
No, it's because I'm severely OCD, and the second burnout made a perfect circle on the start finish line, and it looked really cool. The first burnout though was the optics of it were terrible. He was like in the grass. There was an ambulance in the background. You're like, this is not it. So if it would have been that one, I think I would have given it like a 2. But I think the second burnout was good. Then the climb of the fence.
I loved his energy. His energy was awesome.
The fence climb was one of the coolest things I've seen in a while. He got all the way up there.
Yeah, he did. And then he got stuck on the way down. And it was just, I could think of, because I remember climbing fences like that at baseball fields when I was a kid and going oh crap, I gotta get down now.
Oh, he's so short, too. It has to feel like a 20-story fall.
He looked like a little kid, just oh crap, I gotta get down now.
Did you see the height difference between him and Michael Jordan in Victory Lane?
Yeah. And then Michael Jordan had his kid on his shoulders, and then
Tyler Reddick's looking at the height difference between Tyler Reddick and Michael Jordan.
Yeah. It's always funny, especially because, NASCAR drivers aren't necessarily tall, and when Michael Jordan walks around the track.
But Tyler Reddick is even shorter.
He's like this, yeah. But yeah, burnout wasn't great. Energy was great. But that's what happens. You win like that at Talladega, you can't help but, freak out. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. But a big debate has sparked. Actually, no, first. Let's scratch that. Toyota.
Now, let's talk about fuel first.
You talk about, okay.
Yes.
A big debate has sparked after this race. Fuel-saving races at superspeedways. Do we like them? Do we not like them? I think it's 50-50. Maybe 60-40 of people who don't like the fuel-saving race. I kind of like it. I don't like when they're going super slow to save fuel, and I like the strategy call of McDowell at the end saying, or McDowell and Toyota really saying, we're forcing guys to pit. We're gonna run wide open. Make them pit. I love the strategy part of it at a super speedway because it gives strategy to a super speedway, something you can control. But like I said, I don't like when they're going 4 to 5 seconds slower to save fuel. And I think something that could help, which I don't think will happen, Erica Stepp had mentioned this before, and get rid of stage brakes or stage cautions at the stage brakes.
Get rid of all stage cautions.
I think that would help this because then you're not guaranteed that pit stop. Then this fuel saving really, I think they run wide open and just change your strategy.
I would say for people that are really against fuel saving, I would say devil's advocate to that is, okay, would you rather watch fuel saving where it's 3x3x3x3 or 2x2 for most of the race, or 30 cars in a line right up next to the wall? Because if you don't have fuel saving, that's what it is. For probably 135 out of 188 laps, it's 30 cars in the line up against the wall. So if you would like to see that, feel free to take away fuel saving. I love fast cars as much as the next person, but frankly, I find 2x2x2 or 3x3x3 a lot more entertaining. Because I also think that there's a skill element to this fuel saving. You saw it with drivers like Brad Keselowski and Kyle Busch.
BJ McLeod ran to the top of the field in the first stage, ran out of...
Yeah, it's another skill to implement at these super speedways. And I think that different tracks are going to have their different strengths. Like, there's guys who excel on road courses because their ability to pick lines and they're really adept at braking. And then the super speedways might be this is the skill set. To be successful at super speedways, you need to know when to pick your runs, you need to know when to make your moves, and you need to know how to save fuel effectively. I think it's a nice other wrinkle to throw into this, so I like it.
I will say, I do think there's an issue. I don't think the next-gen car can race at the top of Talladega. I don't think the third line works. Because the third line worked when they're going a little bit slower when they're saving fuel. But as soon as the race started, they quit saving fuel.
Well, to be fair, it also got axe chopped by Ty Gibbs.
But even before that, it couldn't really get...
No, it was still go. They would pass about 4 cars down the backstretch, and then they would lose 2 on the front.
Well, that was the third attempt. There was multiple attempts behind Larson and Elliott to try to get that lane moving, and it just didn't work until Elliott went out.
Yeah, but it's also never going to work if you only have 3 cars. So
that is true, but I need to see more evidence that the third lane consistently works when they're pushing all they got. Because I feel like someone, if they were confident in it, you would have seen Busch move up a whole lot sooner and gotten somebody behind him to go with him.
It's almost like we should increase horsepower.
I thought we were gonna go a show without saying the word horsepower, but
No.
Here we are again.
Anyway, speaking of fuel savings thing, one great way to kind of shake up and not have to worry about fuel is what Toyota did.
Pit and make everybody else have to push or pit.
Because
great. Perfect strategy call.
And then another way to worry about not having to save fuel
is if your car is in the garage. If your car is in the garage, you save money on fuel. You save money on paying the pit crew.
Money on tires.
You save all this money. They were geniuses. We just didn't know it at the time.
Sponsors were on TV over and over and over. It's a great marketing move from Toyota.
They still got the win somehow.
The word Toyota was said so many times.
Look, if they hadn't wrecked out in all seriousness, any one of those Toyotas probably would have won the race.
Yeah.
I think...
And Tyler Reddick was in the front of that line anyway, so...
Right, that's what I'm saying. But that's why he won, because he was there. I think if you don't have that kerfuffle, to quote Kevin Harvick...
no, the word of the week was hullabaloo this week.
Yeah, that one was bad.
Or as Kevin Harvick said first time, hullaboo.
Yeah. And he said it was on like lap 1, I think. He didn't wait at all.
The silence after he said that was golden.
Come on, what'd you just say? But yeah, so I think the Toyota wins without question if they all are in the race.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They took themselves out. And
to be fair, they only took out the NPC Toyota drivers and then Denny Hamlin.
I was about to say, yeah. And then they all got in the wall, and then all of a sudden you see a car twice on Denny Hamlin, and he's gone too. Which is kind of fun.
That's the Lord's work.
Yeah, but all right. Let's move to Dover. We had the Monster Mile this weekend. Dover, an interesting track. What do you think we're going to see?
Well, it's 2017, so I think we're going to see an easy Jimmy Johnson win at Dover. Anyway, Dover is weird. I'm just so worried about the ability to pass. I'm always worried about the ability to pass. This next-gen car just feels like on these short tracks, it's just set in rails and it's impossible to pass anyone. I think someone who starts in the top 5 probably wins the race unless you see something like Bristol tire wear or crazy strategy thing or something. But
yeah,
I think it's going to be a very straightforward race. And I'm going to go Christopher Bell. He's kind of the junior, Martin Truex Jr. now. Martin Truex the third in the way he wins races.
He was really hot at the beginning. He's kind of quiet down. He was dead last yesterday.
I think this is a great opportunity for a bounce back for him.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but I'm going to take the actual Martin Truex Jr. Yeah. I think he gets his first dub of the season.
Race.
Yeah, home race. He's been great here. Won here last year. Doing great at these tracks. He's been consistent all year. Just hasn't crossed the finish line ahead of everybody else yet. His closest 2 races.
Richmond when I picked him to.
In Bristol. I mean, his closest 2 races were shorter tracks.
Yeah.
So I got him winning it over this weekend. I think that's sound advice. If you're a betting man,
it's good logic.
Martin Truex is probably going to be the favorite. So look at the numbers and see how that shakes out.
And bet on Christopher Bell to finish 3rd.
Yes. Or have something explode in the lap 7.
Leading the race with 2 laps to go, and then his brake line falls off.
Yeah.